chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks. Welcome to ChuggieBets.
You guys are so short-sighted, right?
Hold on. Wait. Not just like we're making bad coaching decisions, right? Mario did it again this week. Like he just wasn't making good in-game decisions again. But apart from that, like our offensive line is banged up, which is our strongest unit. Like we stole Alabama's offensive line, but we have our freshman that was supposed to go to Alabama that we bought is hurt. I don't know if we have the depth on that unit right now because all our players we just bought at the top and we didn't buy in the middle, so I don't know if we have the depth on that unit to replace everybody. It seems like Tyler Van Dyke is not really good under pressure. If you give him a bunch of time back there, he's awesome. But if somebody gets in his face, he's just going to throw a bunch of interceptions. I'm really not. And our offenses are. Our defensive line was supposed to be a strength, and they're not really getting to the quarterback. I don't have a lot of faith in our team right now.
Like, are all three of these games like counting as bowl eligible wins? Like Miami, Ohio, Bethune-Cookman, and Temple.
Yep. Well, I will say Miami hasn't beat a Power 5 team yet, right? They're one of the last teams in the country to not beat a Power 5.
A&M.
Oh, you did beat A&M. I'm sorry.
Well, hold on, but we also haven't beat a Power 5 team because does the SEC count as a Power 5 conference this year?
That's true. They're just the Big Ten West with better marketing right now. They don't have quarterback play. They can't have an offense. Joe Milton is trying, but everyone else kind of stinks. Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. They're just the MAC.
Dude, if Joe Milton could aim that missile in the right direction, he would be the best quarterback in the world.
He would be. He's Uncle Rico from from Napoleon Dynamite. He could throw the ball a quarter mile for sure.
If Bethune-Cookman counts as a bowl eligible win, then we'll make a bowl. But because we still have Virginia, NC State, and Boston College, and we're gonna win 2 of those at least, if not all 3. But Clemson lost, FSU lost, and Louisville. Honestly, that feels like if we're sitting at 4 losses with that and Boston College left, we're gonna give up, and that's gonna be a loss too. Then we're gonna get sent to the goddamn Boise, Idaho Potato Bowl, and it's gonna be cold. We're gonna get blown out by
Ohio.
Wyoming.
So do you
guys just said the same school with a different name? I heard it.
They're both pretty good. Do you think I was worried that Miami would try to almost give up, right? After that Cristobal thing, very sensitive psyche with a lot of those players. It felt like, especially after that loss, right? I understand Chaney having a sensitive psyche considering he fumbled the ball and being a little bit upset about that. He didn't fumble. He got called for a fumble. But I didn't see anything that looked like they were giving up the other day. You guys got worked in the third quarter. That was it, right? You just got beat by an awesome wide receiver and a future top 3 pick in the NFL for a quarterback. I don't think it was that bad of a loss.
No. I think
your defense was nasty. You were killing Drake May. You were absolutely blowing him up all game. He was getting beaten.
Yeah, but not finishing the sacks, which has been the story all year.
They're
getting there and they're pressuring, but they're not finishing the sacks.
They scored 41 points, right?
I do. I'm just look. They're really good. They're a really good offensive team. You guys,
yes, but they're a bad defensive team. Well, they're better this year defensive team, but they're historically a bad defensive team. And if we are this wagon of an offense that we're supposed to be, then we need to be putting up 40 points against them and not getting blown out by.
I don't think you guys are a wagon on offense at all. I think you're a pretty good balanced team. I think your defense is probably better than your offense. I think outside of the North Carolina game, you guys have been crushing. The Georgia Tech game is a weird outlier. You guys were so much better statistically. You just didn't punch the ball in, and you didn't kneel. That's a weird way to lose, but I don't think.
I don't know. A couple of games ago, we were talking about having the 2 best receivers statistically in the ACC. I know that they're not the most talented, but they were the best statistically. We had the best statistical quarterback in the ACC, and he was a Heisman candidate. We had 2 really good running backs that were averaging a very high yards per carry, and that's all gone.
I don't think anyone actually thought of that outside of local Miami sports radio, right? I thought you guys were going to be a good team.
No, those were just facts, bud. Those were just facts that statistically they were at this level.
Okay, so statistical that is just transitive, right? You were playing Miami of Ohio, you're playing Temple, right? Those numbers get stacked up. If you thought any of them were better than Keon Coleman, you're crazy.
No, none
You're
of us
an
thought that they
insane
were
person as
a
well.
higher NFL. Well, Restrepo, no, we didn't think he was better, but we thought he might have been like a top 3 round pick and not. I mean, Coleman, what is he, a top 3 round pick, or is he a first round
I
pick?
think
Top
you got
10
it.
pick, I think,
Top
right
10
now.
pick.
Like I'm not a stickler for like size and measurables when it comes to NFL caliber talent. But legitimately, you must be this tall to ride, and Xavier Restrepo is not. He's like 5 foot nothing. He's
I don't think
like
it matters as much a receiver. He doesn't have the like elite speed, I guess, that you need if you're that small.
to offset it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's
he's a great college receiver, like great college receiver. He will not make a NFL 53-man
I
squad.
thought that's what I
He'll
thought
be a
that's
practice squatter.
well,
Well, I could
I think
give
he'll
him
get
a little bit
drafted.
higher.
I
His
think he'll get
ceiling is
drafted.
like Braxton Berrios is his ceiling.
Dude, I think he'll get drafted.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
It was either him or George they were talking about being
You guys have good players. That's what I'm saying.
first
You're
weekend
all
pick.
around good. Your
But
line is good. Your defensive line is good. They cause havoc. Lance Guidry has been really good. I've been super impressed with how much better the coordination is this year. Like, you guys are getting better. You just aren't there yet. I don't think that's that
All right,
bad. You're
all
going to
right,
win 8
all right,
games.
all
You're going to
right.
be great.
that's
Enough Miami talk. Nobody cares.
Okay, fair enough.
We don't even care.
Yeah.
I got Al to the side of me. Danny way over there after his ChuggieBets and drinks some beers. With.
Cheers.
I need beer.
I want to talk about conspiracy theory, right? So, Troy is a city in what is now modern day Turkey, right?
Thought you were going to say
Troy-
Michigan.
Well, and in Michigan, but originally was in Turkey, right?
Yeah.
They brought out a horse.
Legitimately, I thought you were talking about the college at first, and I was like, modern day.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Sorry.
So, and they brought out a horse and they gave it as a gift, and then they ambushed the people who got the gift as a horse. There's a university called Troy. They went to Army in their horse and shut them down. Literally kept them scoreless. Is that the most un-American thing you can think of? Going to Army and keeping them scoreless for the whole game. Shame on Troy. Shame on Troy for doing that to an Army team.
Look! I think that's on the Army. I think you never look a gift horse in the mouth, right? So, I don't know. It seems pretty American actually to take that for granted.
Two things. First, Troy is only about 4 hours from Istanbul. It's actually called like Hisarlik or some shit like that.
Okay.
Fun
Two,
fact.
Army is clearly on that aircraft carrier that's sitting off the Gaza Strip because their team did not show up.
Fair enough. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They're actually doing Army shit and not football shit.
Yeah.
That
There's a
makes
couple of wars going on in the world right now, so maybe football isn't like the most important place for all of the best athletes to be. Maybe they're kicking doors.
What's a worse look for the American Armed Forces Academy? Army getting shut out at home, or Notre Dame beating the hell out of Navy in Ireland?
I feel like losing to Notre Dame for an armed force, a military academy is like fine.
But in Ireland, it makes it feel worse, doesn't it? Like,
Well,
especially when you're the Fighting Irish and you're beating up on the U.S. Navy in
I
Dublin.
think it feels more un-American to beat Notre Dame in Ireland.
Feels pretty un-American to just play football in Ireland.
Yeah, that's true. They got their shit kicked in and rugby. They had a rugby match, Notre Dame and Navy, and I don't know how the scoring works, but I think Navy beat them by like 76, and that feels like a lot. That may be just like a couple points in rugby, but why are we talking about rugby?
Touchdowns also.
But I do want to talk about some exciting things in college football polls, right? North Carolina, criminally underrated still, did the damn thing, handled a Miami team, which we already talked about. But guys, did you see there's a new addition, a really exciting new addition to the poll? I want to welcome James Madison, the Dukes, to the top 25. I don't know if you guys have watched this team yet, but they go out there.
Short-lived though it may be.
Short-lived though it may be. They're kicking the shit out of teams, not just like beating them. They're stepping on throats. They're like, they are a well-organized.
They've not played many close ones, that's for sure.
No, they've been kicking the hell out of everyone. So I'm excited to see James Madison in the top 25. Finally, voters are pulling their head out of their ass and not putting another SEC team in there Just like, hey, let's put Kentucky back in. Why not? Florida, let's throw them in the top 25. And speaking of armed forces, the armed force team that's good, Air Force is ranked. Congratulations to Air Force. It's good to see you guys represented for Fort Collins, Colorado, I think. So I don't know if anyone has thoughts on that, but I'm happy to see some new blood in the top 25 that actually deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show you what a passing game can do for you. You throw the ball 10 times instead of once.
That's it.
You get ranked.
Air Force may legitimately win the Mountain West too. I could see them going undefeated. They're not, because it's college football and no one goes undefeated.
Yeah.
Like 1 or 2 teams a year, but
You might.
Hey, let's take it easy. We still got a couple road trips. That game to Pitt, we learned last week, if you go to Pitt with any sort of expectations, Narduzzi will kill you.
I said that on the pod. I was like, Narduzzi's gonna Narduz.
And he sure did it.
He did. And nobody knows how they got all their points. Like what did they have, like 38 or something? And like you go back and you're like, how did Pitt get to 38? Nope, nobody knows.
It's an anomaly.
I assume there was at least 2 non-offensive touchdowns in that.
There were. You're right.
There was at least 2.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what happened. Talking about teams you expect to do what they do, and they do it, and you're always surprised when they do it. Wisconsin just got Iowa'd, right? Wisconsin got a case of the Iowas. Let me read you a couple stats. And Al, I don't know if you want to bring up the calculator or we could talk about the Ferentz numbers, but while I talk about some stats, Deacon Hill and his notorious not throwing a spiral football went 6 of 14 passing. Danny, I don't know if you're looking at the numbers. On 14 passes, what sounds like a bad amount of yards?
On 14 pass attempts,
yeah,
I would say like if you're averaging like 6 yards an attempt, that would be pretty bad. So like, whatever that multiplies out, you're good at math, Matt. Was that 80 something yards?
Yeah, 84 yards. So what do you think about 2.5 yards an attempt? Is that good or bad? Because he threw the ball
That's really bad.
And completed for 37 yards. It's getting laughable. Like, I know Cade McNamara is out, but this is getting like worse and worse by the moment. They did run the ball great. Iowa is going to do what Iowa does. And of course, they only have 1 offensive touchdown and 15 points. So, Cooper DeJean probably returned one, just keeping up with Iowa. But I do want to report some good news. There were 2 completions to wide receivers. Congratulations to Iowa. I can't imagine rooting for this team. Like, I know I say that every week, and I'm so happy. I love being in a world where Iowa exists and it keeps doing this and keeps winning games. But no one can root for this. Go ahead.
Yeah, so they still need 179 points to save Brian Ferentz's job.
Okay.
They have 5 regular season games plus what may be a Big Ten championship game and what will probably be a bowl game to do that. So if they make the Big Ten championship game, that gives them 7 opportunities, and they are still not on pace to hit that with their current performance. They're averaging under 21 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
They need to average like 25.5 per game the rest of the way. And if they don't make that,
I was going to go 10-1, and he's going to get fired.
I know.
For real.
Dude, that schedule, Iowa gets the next 4 games, I think, are at home, which is crazy. And the next 4 games
they're not just at home. It's Minnesota, Northwestern, Rutgers, and Illinois.
Yeah,
then they close against Nebraska. It's so easy.
Yeah. They're going to win the Big Ten West. They're going to go 10-2 or 11-1, and then they're going to face Michigan.
Which one of those teams is going to score 3 points against them?
No, it's not that. Which one of those teams are they going to score 40 on? Because I don't think they're going to do it to any of them.
Rutgers, is Rutgers a possibility? They've looked better than
Rutgers is the best team they play. Rutgers is the best.
They might lose to Rutgers.
Illinois' defense has been trash.
It's been hit up and down.
But the thing is, it's Illinois' pass defense that's trash. Their run defense has been okay, and they can't complete. They're up to 2 passes to wide receivers now.
Two
they might
Illinois might give up 6 passes to wide receivers.
They might have to hang 80 on Northwestern.
They may have to, because they're not getting any points in the Big Ten.
Someone make a note in our sheet. Like, we need to hammer Iowa versus Northwestern. No spread is too big.
Team total
The
overs?
0 against Penn State
Yeah.
is really hurting them.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Yeah. I mean, you could pick almost any game and say that one's hurting them. They've only hit their 25 points twice.
I mean,
Yeah.
they do have a very good defense, right? They do, but it's not even Michigan level good. Like Michigan's defense is significantly better than theirs.
Michigan's the best team I've watched in a long time. They're terrifying. They're
Well, not a
murdering
long
the
time.
world.
2 years ago, we had Georgia's defense that gave up 0 points in the SEC.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They're the
A
best
good
team.
SEC, not this year's SEC.
This year's SEC is.
An SEC
Iowa
that
would
had like
have-
Bryce Young and
Where would Iowa fit in this year's SEC? Would they be the third best team in the Big Ten, the SEC West? Would you put them behind LSU and Alabama? Let's start there. Would you put them behind LSU and Alabama?
if you could put Iowa's defense and LSU's offense on the same team, that would be the best team in the country.
That would be the Joe
I
Burrow
think,
team.
yeah. I think you'd have you'd have a good argument to make between Iowa and LSU, but I think you'd put them behind Bama.
Really? You're still not buying LSU. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah.
No, I
One
buy
of-
Jaden
I hope
Daniels.
that's
I
the
buy
bowl game
Jaden
we get.
Daniels. That
I hope
defense
we
is
got
just
those results,
they
yeah.
lost.
so bad.
Dude, they lost to Ole Miss because they gave up 50 points. Like
And they scored 50. They just gave up too many more than 50.
they gave up 56 and scored 52 or whatever that game was. It was ridiculous.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I want that all the time.
Yeah.
I want to watch Jaden Daniels play a lot. I want to see a Jaden Daniels Michael Penix bowl game somehow.
I want to see Iowa LSU now. That's all I want. That's all I care
That would
about.
be a hell of an Outback
Put
Bowl.
those two
And
together.
honestly, there's a good chance that's going to happen. That's the Outback Bowl, the New Year's Day at noon. That's in Tampa, Florida every year. It's always like Big Ten West against SEC. I'm in.
Feels
Yeah,
like a good thing
I
to do
love
on the
that.
way to Disney World.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Matt, give me a bad team draft update.
Okay.
I need to see
Let
it.
me pull up the bad team draft really quick. And we had some interesting plays. You guys want to capitulate for a second while I pull this up?
Yeah.
I know that
Um,
I'm really good at the bad team draft because I'm really bad at picking good teams, but not that good at picking bad teams.
Well, let me while Matt's pulling that up, let me go ahead and recap our picks this past week so everyone knows where we stand. We are borderline getting on a heater here in college football, boys. We've had almost all of us over 500 2 weeks in a row. This past week, all of us were over 500 except Sunshine went 1-3. But Matt 7-5 won his
Oh, yeah.
ChuggieBet. Danny 7-2 won his ChuggieBet.
Steamer.
That's your best week of the year, bud.
Best week
That's
ever,
really
I
good.
think, in college.
Yeah. Andy, a nose over 500, 14-13, and I went 5-4. So, Matt and I are in a deadlock to see who can finish closer to 500 on their picks. But Danny and Matt each have a beer to pass out.
Don't
so
I get two since
well
I
done.
won the record? And
Oh,
I
yeah,
won my
you do,
Chuggy
buddy.
bet?
Yes, you
Hell
do.
yeah.
Yes, you do.
Let's go through
I'll give
the
one
bad
to
team
myself
draft.
and one to one of you guys.
Ooh. Let's go through the bad team draft really quick. There was a shakeup at the leaderboard. I am no longer in the lead. There are two people in front of me, and they are tied. But in last place, as it's been every week, is Andy with a record of 47%. He's won 47% of his games. He's just like a competitive team.
He didn't understand the game. He thought he was picking winners.
He got screwed.
Yeah, you just can't not pick
He
winners.
got screwed this week by Iowa State. Maybe they're not bad. Maybe we should talk about Iowa State not being bad. They've been pretty competitive. And that Florida pick is looking worse and worse with every week, but I do think there will be some losses upcoming. In second to last place is Al. 7 wins, 12 losses. He has a winning percentage of 37%. He's starting to get the thing moving there now. We got Syracuse at 0-3. That's been his bell cow. West Virginia's been surprising. Arizona may actually be good too, by the way. I don't know if you saw. Look up Arizona's quarterback stats from last game when they just kicked the shit out of Washington State. They may have found a new quarterback without Delora in.
When I was sitting there and I had to pick freaking Auburn, I would have traded like Stanford and Colorado for Florida. And it turns out Auburn hasn't won a game yet, and Florida's got like 3 wins, I think, or 2 wins.
3. They have 3-1 in conference.
Oh man, that's so bad.
And Mizzou is looking better than we thought, Al, but there's plenty of time. In third place is me with a winning percentage of 21%. Unfortunately, Rutgers keeps moving on and just winning games they shouldn't win. Houston got to win. Stanford upset Colorado, so I got to win there, which means I got a loss. So Danny and I flip-flopped on that game, and it was a big one. And then tied in the lead, Danny and Chris, both with a winning percentage of only a paltry 20%. Danny got helped out by Colorado blowing a big lead, Auburn being 0-3, FIU being 0-4. Virginia Tech is kind of fucking around a little bit and winning a couple games, but outside that, your team is looking pretty stout.
Yeah.
Sunshine, the Kansas
Wake Forest was out there, and I just didn't even take them.
did not take Wake Forest. You went with Virginia Tech. Oh, Virginia Tech's gonna. I think you're gonna be fine.
I should have taken Miami, really.
That would have been a good one. That would have been a good one.
0-3 right now, or something in the ACC.
And then
0-2,
Sunshine
about to be
had
0-3.
Boston College, which looks like that's going to be great. Nebraska looks like that's going to be great. Arizona State stinks. That team sucks. Vanderbilt sucks. He's going to be hamstrung by the Kansas pick, which was a brave decision. That may be the third best team in the Big 12. So we're going to see
his
how that
undoing.
That may be his undoing, but that's the bad team draft. Hey, you guys want to pick some games?
Yeah.
Let's pick a couple games. So we got a lot of football this week. Starting on Tuesday night, and I got a bunch of early bangers.
I had one thing I wanted to talk about before we
Yeah.
get to picks. So, I mean, we didn't really mention this leading up, but it was in your notes. I mean, Penix is winning the Heisman right now, right?
He's like minus 150, and the next closest is J.J. McCarthy from Michigan at like plus 1,000 or plus like 800.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's him. He's
It's
just
a one
playing,
horse race right now. Yeah.
like if Jaden Daniels was on had a better defense, he would be number 2, but he doesn't have it. He's just not going to. He's not
There's
a
no
good
room
enough team.
for Caleb Williams to get back into it, right? That was
Do you think that team's going to be good enough, dude?
No.
That team's look. Caleb Williams is awesome, and he's going to be a great pro. I am fully confident that he's going to be an awesome pro. That team is not good on defense, and every play looks like, hey, Caleb, scramble and just throw the ball down the field. It's like you're playing in the backyard a lot. He's tremendous.
Drake May's pretty good though. Can he sneak his way in?
Yeah, he started climbing the board a little bit. I think the board was McCarthy. I'm behind Penix. McCarthy, Nix, Travis, Drake May, and someone else is up there. I'm missing too. And I think Jaden Daniels is right there with the Travis and Drake May combination.
Carson Beck still in the running.
Carson Beck may see a nice climb. If you were to be a stock trader, I would buy some Carson Beck now. Because I think Georgia's going to win more games, and he's going to be important because they are not that great defensively, but they can do some things offensively. And if Brock Bowers is hurt and they keep winning games, and Brock Bowers looks like he's going to be out for 6 weeks.
Ooh.
I would trade your version of Miami's really good defensively for Georgia's not that great defensively right now.
Comparatively, right? As far as Georgia standard, they've been playing close games a lot.
Yeah, I know, but you're saying like Georgia
also-
standard versus Miami standard when you do that, and like, yeah, our standard is trash.
It's true.
I feel
The
like it's a
standard is
good
the standard.
buy low spot on Bo Nix too, because Oregon could still make noise, and he's good.
You guys want to talk about that game really quick? I thought that was a game between two teams that should be in the playoff. I didn't feel any worse about Oregon after the game. I didn't feel any better about Washington. I just think they're both great.
That felt like one that, like, if they played a best of 7, like, it would go 7.
I did. I think it was pretty clear why Penix is going to be a top pick for a quarterback and why Bo Nix is going to play in college for 19 years. He's really good. Bo Nix is very good. He's a very good player, but like he misses some throws. He's a really good quarterback, but like there's a reason he's not where he started.
He's going to be like the next Ryan Fitzpatrick. Maybe not that good. Or like a Jeff Garcia. No, not that's too good too. Like a guy who can seize the moment from a backup spot.
Okay.
Gardner Minshew with less mustache and longer shorts.
Mike White.
There you go.
Yeah. He looks like a Mike White. I thought Washington's wide receivers are crazy. Rome Odunze is the dumbest. How often do you think about Rome? I think about Rome Odunze every day because that guy is terrifying if you have to face him. If you're a secondary player going against him, you have to think about him all the time. He is awesome, and he's so good. That
So,
team
I
is
mean,
fucking good. Like,
obviously, I was, multitasking, placing bets, watching kids, and had that game on the TV. And they put up the stat with the 3 Washington wide receivers, and I pan to the right, and I see the last guy, and he's got like ridiculous stats. I'm like, why'd they put the guy with the best stats last? And then I moved to the next guy. I'm like, oh, that's even better. Then I moved to the first guy, and it was Roma Dunza, and I was like, holy shit, these guys are like already putting up season-long numbers in like half a season.
My biggest takeaway from the game was that Michael Penix, not the most photogenic quarterback when you look at him just in like his headshots and everything, but if you like as a quarterback on the sideline when he takes his helmet off, pretty handsome guy.
I don't think he takes a good picture. He kind of looks like Chris Redd from SNL a little
I
bit.
was just gonna say that. I couldn't think of the guy's name, so I was Googling him. Literally, I was Googling his name.
But he doesn't
That's
like
funny.
in all his photos, like he just needs like better angles or something because like live when he's like on video, he's a good looking guy.
Well, maybe he tries to do like the hard smile and it's just not becoming, or it's just not natural. When he looks
Yeah.
out there natural, he's a good looking dude.
Yeah, when
Right?
he's just
Like,
out there playing a great game and smiling and like throwing for 9,000 yards.
Yo, that
Yeah.
is so funny. He looks just like Chris Redd. That's funny.
Um,
Good pull, Matt.
Can we talk about the big play of the game, right? And it's Oregon went on 4th down a lot in dangerous situations, and that's part of their DNA. But a minute 40 left, Oregon is up by 4, right? They're on their own 40-yard line. It is 4th and 3. They could punt the ball, and being up by 4, they're going to force Michael Penix to go the full length of the field, try to pin him down in the 10 or 15, then stretch the field, make it as hard as possible. And if they get the first down there, game's over. It's a wrap, an absolute wrap. So they went for
Well,
it.
I think you're assuming they're gonna kneel it, right? That's a pretty big assumption.
Well, they're a good football team. He's a good coach. So, yeah, they're going to kneel it.
Okay.
So
I'll give it to you.
they didn't get the first down. Now, talking in retrospect, would you have gone for it?
I am I mean, I'm a numbers guy. They're that close. The numbers probably say to go for it. So I would have gone for it, I think. But I'm also kind of a sissy, so actually no. The numbers would say go for it, and I'd be like, yeah, we should go for it, and then I'd call timeout right before we go for it, and then I'd punt it.
There's some Bill Parcells in all of us, huh?
Yeah, it's a lose-lose spot because you definitely go for it in that situation because one completion for 3 or 4 yards, the game is over. I think you ask any coach, if they just had to make that one play to win the game, they would always choose to go that route. The downside though is so you punt the ball, they score a touchdown, you say, "Oh shit, why did we punt it? We should have gone for it on 4th down." It's like, okay, so if they score, no matter what happens, you look like you made the wrong choice.
Look, they went for it. They didn't get it. Michael Penix scored in like 10 seconds, right? If they punt it, let's say they pin him all the way down to the 1. Penix scores in 18 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's value in what you're saying, Danny, and I didn't think about this until kind of like thinking the whole play over. Giving him the short field, you can assume he's going to score or not score, right? But if he does score, he's going to score with less time, so you get the ball back, and they got themselves back in field goal position by doing that. So it was actually not the worst outcome. I mean, the best outcome would have been not letting them score the touchdown, but they had like a minute left. So they had a position and they had a timeout left in their pocket. So it is interesting to think about the math that way. It is actually a favorable outcome to go for it there because you get another chance, right?
Right.
College kickers, college kick. They missed a 40-yarder and went just right.
But as a Miami guy, what I would have done is I would have sent the offense out to go for it. I would have tried to draw them offsides. When they don't go offsides, I would have called a timeout and punted it, and then I would have let them score a touchdown to win. That would have been my plan.
Do you feel robbed of overtime, or do you feel like it was a great game on its own?
Great game on its own. I didn't feel robbed at all.
I didn't feel robbed in any outcome. Would I have liked more of that? Sure. Hell yeah, I'm American. You want to give me more? I can supersize this game. I'm going to take the opportunity to supersize this. But it was great. It was great either way.
No, I liked the ball. Like
right.
when I was watching the game in the moment, I liked the ballsy move to go for it. So I didn't feel bad about it.
I loved it. I loved the whole game.
Yeah, I would have liked the overtime. Though.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot more to bet on this week, so let's go through the first few games, and then we'll pick up the rest in the second version of this podcast. What do you say? Why don't we start off on Tuesday night? I got a bunch of Sun Belt Conference USA coming your way. So let's act quick. Tuesday night, we got Middle Tennessee State. We got Liberty coming into town. Middle Tennessee State's not bad, but Liberty's really good. They're going to go undefeated this year because they're so much better and they have so much more NIL than everyone else in that. Lay the 14.5 with Liberty. I think this one's going to get away quickly. Second game, Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State. Western Kentucky's pretty good offensively. Jacksonville State has been really good for the majority of the year of winning ball games. I think this game will probably stay closer within one score, especially being in Jacksonville State. Take the 7. You guys have any thoughts on there? You want me to keep ripping through some of these?
I got the thoughts on the next game.
Yeah, no thoughts.
All right.
I didn't put this as an official play, but Sam Houston, FIU. FIU is like 3-2, and Sam Houston's like 0-6, but Sam Houston somehow favored -5. It feels like a trap line, but I would actually lay the -5 here because FIU is freaking terrible. They can't do anything. So I would lay the 5 with Sam Houston here, but I decided not to because I had some other plays, and I just laid.
That is just going to be a bad game. Sam Houston now. I'm sorry. The Bearcats, Bearkats, mind you.
You know what? I changed my mind. I'm making this a play. I'm laying the 5 with Sam Houston.
Laying 5.5.
Ooh,
Sam Houston.
nice.
Don't watch this game. For the love of God,
Don't
go
watch it.
outside, enjoy some weather, talk to a friend.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be cool this week. Hang out with your kids outside for the last week before 2 weeks
sun goes
before
away.
the sun
Earn
starts
some
going
brownie
away.
points. Make your wife
But
dinner.
Andy and I have a pick on another
Don't do that.
Tuesday
Make her make dinner.
game. Southern Miss is going into South Alabama, the Gerbils, as Andy likes to call them. He and I are both on Southern Miss taking the 18 points here. Look, Southern Alabama's good. Southern Miss is not good. Just feels like a lot of points. Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Man, there's a lot of games on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. Do you guys – are you happy that there's games all the time, or you think it cheapens the action experience in November?
I really like that there's games every day. I wish they were games I cared more about. They don't have to be like marquee matchups, but none of these seem like they're even going to be that close.
I loved this before they changed the baseball rules. Now I'm watching baseball playoffs.
Oh, so fast, right? The games are awesome.
Yeah, so
I agree.
I'm kind of trying to do both, but I only have so much attention that I can give to things.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah! You work and you got kids and shit, and you got to watch sports, but you can only do that so much. Well, a game that is exactly what Al said is New Mexico State UTEP. There's no reason to watch this game, but Andy is taking 3.5 points with UTEP. UTEP plus 3.5 here. Sure. Sure. Thursday has a really good banger of a game. We've talked about it at the top of the podcast. The newly ranked James Madison Dukes are going into Marshall, into Huntington, West Virginia, I believe. And it's going to be a good game. Marshall's pretty damn good, so this should be a fun one. Al, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm going to take Marshall at home plus 3.5. If I'm getting the field goal and the hook and at home, Marshall has been, a little up and down this year. James Madison is good. I've been on James Madison a lot this year, but it feels like a sort of, a tricky spot for them. So I don't know if they'll lose outright, but I think this is going to be a close one.
Yeah, I could see a last-minute kick from the Dukes in order to make this game close.
And then there's also SMU Temple Friday night. I don't think any of us have a play in that one, but that wraps up our midweek games. So I don't know if you guys want to tie a bow on this, have anything else you guys want to say, but we're going to hit up the Saturday slate on the next pod.
No, I think that's perfect, Al. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to subscribe, like, do all that stuff. Tell your friends. We need it. Leave comments. Talk shit about us. I don't even care. But good night, Joey.
Don't talk shit about me. I have sensitive feelings. Good
Don't
night.
talk shit about me now.